11 on your side.
When you were 8, you wanted to fly. When you were 13, to be a rock star. At 20, an artist. All these years later, you realize you had it right the first time. The 2017 Q50 from Infiniti. Lease the all-wheel drive Infiniti Q50 2-liter turbo for $349 a month. Visit your local Infiniti retailer.
Coming up on ABC 7 News at 11, President-elect Donald Trump sparring with a civil rights icon, Congressman John Lewis, just as we head into the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend.
This is point of in the history in the United States.
Plus, how the inaugural stage is setting up Airbnb for its biggest night ever. And power problems, what caused parts of Vienna to go dark earlier tonight.
Now, ABC 7 News at 11 on your side.
A winter weather alert that fizzled out. While it was a wet start to the weekend, we thankfully didn't have to deal with ice around the metro. Not everyone was so lucky. Let's get a look at the first forecast from meteorologist Josh Knight. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Kimberly. As a matter of fact, the Weather Service just expanding their freezing rain advisory here for another few hours. These now go until 4 a.m. tonight. And as we get into the purple color, farther north, closer to the Pennsylvania border, that's where we still have a winter weather advisory also until 4 a.m. The reason, because temperatures up there farther north from D.C. are expected to drop down to freezing. In some cases, already are. We're just about done with the actual rainfall. You can see just a few showers north of Winchester and a few more close to Interstate 95. These will be off to the east of the bay as we go throughout the next hour or so. As we zoom out, you can see the bulk of this is already over the Atlantic Ocean. So we're just about done with the actual rainfall, sleet, or freezing rain. It's just that some of it that fell earlier is going to freeze overnight. Over around D.C., these are our metro temperatures, and you'll notice we actually go up for part of the night. So I'm not worried about ice here, but farther north, closer to Frederick, Hagerstown, those are the spots where we could see some freezing. So really have to be careful. Here we are, 29 by tomorrow morning in Frederick, Hagerstown at 30, Baltimore around 32. So anything that's untreated, and especially those overpasses and bridges, use extra caution. Big warm up on the way. We'll talk about that and the MLK holiday coming up. Kimberly?
All right, we'll see you then. So it is a holiday weekend honoring a civil rights icon, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It is a tough time also to tangle with Georgia Congressman John Lewis, an iconic figure in the civil rights movement. Lewis is among 13 Democratic members of Congress who will not attend Donald Trump's inauguration. But tonight, Trump may be trying to clean up some comments he made on Twitter about Lewis. Annalisa Gale has all the latest developments.
I don't see this president-elect as a legitimate president. I think the Russians participated in helping this man get elected.
President-elect Donald Trump published several tweets on Saturday in response to Representative John Lewis's recent comments on NBC News. In those tweets targeting Lewis, he says, quote, Congressman John Lewis should spend more time on fixing and helping his district, which is in horrible shape and falling apart. In another tweet, he went on to say, Congressman John Lewis should finally focus on the burning and crime-infested inner cities of the U.S. I can use all the help I can get. Lewis, who represents Georgia's 5th Congressional District, is considered a civil rights icon. He pushed for the creation of the National Museum of African American History and Culture since 1988. He said this when it opened in September.
But this place is more than a building. It is a dream come true.
On Twitter, the president of the NAACP is now calling for an apology from President-elect Donald Trump. He had this to say: by disrespecting Representative John Lewis, President-elect Trump dishonored Lewis's sacrifice and demeaned the Americans and rights he nearly died for. Residents in the 5th District have also been using the hashtag #DefendThe5th to show their support for Representative John Lewis. One user had a really popular tweet saying this is how we feel about Representative John Lewis down here in the Georgia 5th, a district that Donald Trump thinks the congressman is failing. And he used this picture with the word hero on top. In the newsroom, Annalisa Gale, ABC 7 News.
Thank you, Annalisa. So 5 days before Trump's inauguration, there will be a dress rehearsal at the stage outside the Capitol building tomorrow. It includes run-throughs of the swearing-in ceremonies, the presidential review of the troops, and the inaugural parade. The dress rehearsal starts at 7 a.m. and runs through noon. Calling her decision to perform at a pre-inauguration concert a, quote, lapse of judgment, singer Jennifer Holliday has canceled her appearance on the National Mall. The Broadway star said she changed her mind after considering the feelings of her LGBT fans. Toby Keith, Three Doors Down, and Lee Greenwood are all still scheduled to perform at the Lincoln Memorial. With Trump's big day less than a week away, some Airbnb hosts are cashing in big. Amy O'Bear joins us live from outside the Capitol, where final preparations for Friday's ceremony are happening now. Amy, it's kind of two different tales, some people getting big money and some people getting nothing at all.
That's exactly right, Kimberly. I'm really hearing both sides of it. For now, the setup is underway. You can see right here. And I'm told neighbors throughout the D.C. area are doing some getting